It's because I was doing things behind your back, he said to me.
I know, and I didn't know, but now I do.
The worst thing, Matt, about all of this, I hurt the person that I love the most. You, my mom, everyone. He says, and for that, I'm sorry. There's a couple souls that are coming through with you. First of all, I have a grandmother here that's passed, that's with you, that's on the other side.
Yeah.
But then also when I'm connecting, there's a young male that's here that's trying to get my attention that had died. Who is that to you?
My boyfriend?
He's here. You're telling me he was your boyfriend. I thought he was your fiance when I'm connecting with him. Because he said to me, Matt, he says, I'm here today for one reason. He says, I have to give her answers on how I died. First of all, there's a lot to this when I'm connecting. Because your grandmother's the one that's pushing him forward to be able to speak and to let you know that he's here. He says to me that you were just going through old messages of him. He talks about the old messages. They look like old text messages to me. Is that correct?
Yeah.
So please know that when you went through them and you were going through, because he even tells me about the videos. He's whispering in my ear, talk about the videos. Like there's like these goofy videos that you have of him.
That's so funny. I just sent them to his mom today.
Shut the hell up. There you
Yeah.
go. Listen, I always validate to tell souls. I say, listen, tell me things that the person just did so that they know without a doubt that you're there and with them.
Oh my God, I'm so happy.
And he said to me, talk about the videos, because he says to me, Matt, that's the first time I saw her smiling and laughing in a long time. He says, and that's the way that you remember him. You remember him as his goofy self here in this world. He says, there was also a really serious side of me. He talks about having anxiety here in this world when I'm speaking to him. He also showed me, Virginia, that there were substances that were involved with his passing here in this world.
Yeah.
He says, and Matt, this is something that I am not proud of.
I know.
He says, do you know that me and her were planning to spend our life together here in this world? He says, we had talked about it. And he goes, I know she was pushing me. I wasn't ready yet, Matt. He says, because I still had a lot of growing up to do, he's telling me. He says, but the one thing that he wants to acknowledge to you is he wants to thank you for sticking by him, even though there were times when the two of you got pulled apart here in this world.
Yeah.
Because he shows me when I'm connecting that the last year of his life was not easy.
No.
He says, and Matt, it put a lot of stress on our relationship.
Yeah.
And he says to me, the one thing that he needs you to know is that he truly did love you here in this world. He said, despite the fact that sometimes, he says, I would get nervous. And there were times when the two of you would argue, and then there would be a little bit of separation, but you'd always get back together, he's telling me. Is that true?
Yeah.
So he says to me this, he says, Matt, you need to let her know right now that I'm coming to her for one reason. That a lot of times when I was talking to her, when I was speaking to her, when we were having conversations, when we were having disagreements, he tells me that he was not in his right mind here in this world. And for that, I'm sorry.
I know he's sorry. I know.
Because I'm going to tell you something right now. He shows me, spirits will tell me everything, right? Because the reason why they come through is that they don't want to filter. They want you to be able to heal. And he says to me when I'm connecting, Matt, can you please tell her? He says that you had such a hard time here in this world because when you were together, it's like he was the perfect person. And then the moment that he would be away from you, it's like he would completely change. His text would change. His demeanor would change. Everything about him would change. And you're like, what happens? Like when we're together, everything's perfect. When he's apart, it feels like he's so far away from me. Is that true?
Yeah.
He said to me, it's because I was doing things behind your back, he said to me.
I know. And I didn't know, but now I do.
Well, I'm telling you right now, he wants you to hear this from him. The reason why he's telling you this is he tells me that after he died, you found out all of these things.
Yeah.
And you found out all these secrets and you're like, oh my God, and you're trying to put the pieces together. He says that this was one of the reasons why he had died here in this world. He tells me his mind was playing tricks on him. But he says, the worst thing, Matt, about all of this, I hurt the person that I love the most. You, my mom, my family, everyone. He says, and for that, I'm sorry.
It's okay. I mean, it's not okay, but I forgive it. I forgive him.
He's coming through today for one reason. Because he says to me, Matt, she still questions, what was his true feelings for me? Was he really 100% in? And he says, I was. He also tells me about you asking for things of his. So did you ask his mom for a shirt of his? He's talking about you having clothes.
Yeah, I wore his shirt today.
Know that that's his way of acknowledging that when you took that shirt, he saw that because he goes to me, Matt, I can't believe she's got my shirt. I can't believe she wears this.
Yeah, it's like my favorite shirt. I wear it all the time.
There's one thing that he's worried about, okay? And this is the reason why I had to come through and clear up everything. He tells me that since he died, you've been having such anxiety.
Yeah.
And he tells me that you've been really stressed out over yourself. It's like, how can you focus on school? How can you focus on anything when literally he's the one that comes up? He says, I want to let you know that I am going to be like a guardian angel with you. He says, that he's been trying to, even before you came here with me, he says, I've been trying to reach her, and he keeps playing music to me. He says, remember the songs, remember the songs.
Oh my
So
God. I have like a whole playlist on my phone of music that reminds me of him, and then I'll like listen to the radio and songs will come on, and then I'll start talking to him. I'm like, oh, you're here?
So know that that's his way of letting you know that when you hear those songs, that he's right there and with you. He wants to thank you for the way that you kept his memory alive with his friends as well, because he shows me you all getting together and just talking about him when you're with one another. He says to me he wants to thank you for the way that you stayed connected to his family. He says he wants to thank you for the way that you stayed connected with his mom, and more importantly, the way that you've kept his memory alive. He says, so please let her know that I'm okay. Please let her know that I'm with her. And more importantly, I am safe and at peace.
That's
right.
good.
Perfect. Well, thank you so much for being here with me today.
No, thank you.
All right. I'm going to leave you with that.